This is it, my friends, as we continue to set sail in the North Pole, going around the Arctic Ocean in search of the Northwest Passage, a new passageway, but of a different kind, the Northwest Passage of the Mind. That is what we're looking for here, so getting the icebreakers out, moving the icebergs out of our way as we try and move forward here under dangerous circumstance. Welcome back, Artist Journal, December 29th, 2023. Broadcasting to the world from the inner half of the nervous system in Berlin, Germany. My name's Adrian Pocobelli. Maybe I need to add a few more lines to my intro. Shall I? Anyway, here we are. Okay, we have MCHX Ranixtier, very cool minimal AI video series, a collaboration. How cool is that? Look at this. Kind of has, what it is? Like, there's a few thoughts in my mind and that came across my mind when I saw this series. Again, with MCHX, you kind of get that digital Rothko color field situation, but of a different kind, almost richer in my mind. I'm not the biggest Rothko guy. Kind of a mellow, I have mixed feelings about Rothko. Maybe some of you do, maybe some of you don't. But I really enjoy MCHX's work, and it's a very just cool collaboration here with Ranixtier. Kind of painterly almost, even as you like. And what I love about this is it's AI, right? This is mixed, collaborated with AI, as far as I understand. And so it becomes more of a meditation on AI, a very calm meditation on the AI, what it is, what it does, how it's combining the work of these two artists, and what it's producing, and just everything, and how it's engaging with the color and everything. So let me just do this. So this is called Fold, is the name of the series, and I want to contrast this work here, and I actually brought up a couple more, but I wanted to contrast it with Rafik Anadol. So I was thinking, this is like maximalism, right? And so it's a different approach to showcasing AI and what it does. And I was just thinking to myself, what if you had a work more like this, right? Where it's just like this one feels a little easier, you might say, to meditate on. It's a different kind of meditation. This one is, you could call it sensory overload. And so you see the AI, I guess, in the movement, and nothing really stays still for too long, right? Whereas here, it's a different kind of meditation. In a sense, here it feels more like a quote-unquote meditation on AI and what it is. So, using minimalism in order to really be able to focus and think about it a bit more. So different kind of work, but it made me think of Rafik Anadol. It also made me think of Barnett Newman here. This work in the National Gallery of Canada was actually controversial when they first acquired it. I think it was in the 1980s. I remember that. When I was a kid, they paid $1.6 million, I think, at the time, and that was seen as scandalous. Probably they could get 10x that now, maybe more. Pretty big work here, famous minimal work. And it is quite interesting to see it in person, by the way, because you see how perfect it is, but it's like, it's a human that did it. Like, there's something, when you see it and then the presence of it, there's something to be said for that work. All to say, it's kind of got a dash of Rothko with almost a hat tip, accidental or not, it almost doesn't matter, to Barnett Newman there. And The Voice of Fire, as it's called. So just a very cool series here, and it's selling quite well. This is Fold number 5. You see they're quite similar, but just slightly different here. Just slightly different. Some, there might be more blue. Some there might, you see here, like this is different from that opening one. So 7 have been minted. It is an edition of 25. They did a really nice job on this. And I think a collaboration too, like back to the MoMA idea, what if they had started with a work like this? Because I also think this represents, as a way of showcasing AI art, this and meditating, because that's, in a sense, you could argue that was the point of the Rafik Anadol at MoMA show, was it not, to be a kind of meditation on what is this AI thing? We're going to give the foyer or the entrance of the building or wherever it was, I assume very prominent when you walk in, as far as I understand. Big piece. I never saw it myself, but as far as I understand, big piece showcasing it. Okay, here AI is here. And it just kind of got me wondering, what if you did a work like this and it also uses collaboration? Right, which is a very common thing we see in the digital sphere, but it's actually, when you look at trad art, there's one big collaboration I can think of. The one we all know is Warhol and Basquiat. But other than that, I'm not sure. Can you think of another famous collaboration that we should all know? I'm not sure I can even think of another one. Whereas here in the digital sphere, it's kind of as common as anything else. Like, to see another collaboration, it's like maybe the bigger surprise is like, why haven't you collaborated? So anyway, they're doing really well here. 7 works again have been minted at 0.044, so that looks like about $100. Pretty good. With ETH being at 2,400, just a very cool series. So that is on Foundation. And again, MCHX and Ranextier. So thank you for the comments on yesterday's show. Happy New Year from Salieri AI. For more great journals in 2024, you've given me great information all this year. Thank you. You're more than welcome, Salieri. Thanks for the comment. Human Boy, safe travels, Pocobelli, and I look forward to looking into this new year with you all. Great episode. Thank you. And looking forward to hanging out too in this new year on the airwaves here. Looking for the Northwest Passage, PP Universal, let's be honest. So interesting comment here. I think we try Solana because it's cheap to mint and the coin is doing great. So I was trying to think if this was an alternative to my explanation. I guess mine was pretty money-centric, but it feels like this is kind of saying the similar thing. The coin is doing great. Maybe what PP Universal is saying is there's a lot of hype behind the coin, so maybe that's part of it. I still think, again, I kind of go back to that idea of, using a financial analogy, money goes where it's treated best. It's sort of like artists are being treated really well on Solana right now, and they're doing really well. I say, to me, that seems to be the greater, because lots of places it's probably, I bet Cardano is cheap to mint, right? As Cosimo was pointing out there. The coin is doing great. I'm sure this has a lot to do with it. And I think it's great. Again, that whole Solana thing. But I understand the concerns around it too. Rata, Disney love pirates because they are the biggest ones of our time. Take what you can, give nothing back. Yeah, that is hilarious. And Tornado Rodriguez, Emilia is the best. Indeed. Emilia, was it Fantasia, who we started with last episode? And Rata, first comment, Happy New Year, and a big Happy New Year to you back, Rata. And Santiago is a Codal. This is super interesting here, too. The thing with inscriptions is that they are prunable. So they can be deleted by the notes. I didn't know that. Now, Santiago, I may have to message you. If you happen to be watching this, is this Bitcoin too? Or is that just like ETH and the other EVM style cryptos? I'd be curious to know because BTC, the whole idea, with all the environmental concerns, you still get tempted to mint on it because it's forever, right? That's the draw of minting on BTC, on Bitcoin. So I assume this has to do more with inscriptions on ETH and the other EVMs, I would think, because, otherwise So let me know if I got that wrong. Stamps, on the other hand, uses UTXO, so they cannot be deleted. Interesting. So maybe there's another way of doing it. Very interesting. Santiago is a Codal with the knowledge there as usual. And also, Yo-Ao, thank you for the comment. So remember the laptop that I was like, is this a sculpture? What is this thing? It's actually two canvases painted with acrylic and supported like a laptop. That is hilarious. Thank you, Yo. Kells, great show. And the Spaces with Runetune yesterday was awesome. Have to say, definitely check out Basquiat ASAP. So that's the movie. I think that was done by Julian Schnabel that we were discussing on the Space. And as I was saying, like I've heard here locally, because Julian Schnabel, I think I was saying, haunts these parts. Like you see him a couple of times a year, oftentimes here at a art opening or whatever. He actually saw Basquiat paint. So I've been told. So when you see that in the movie of Basquiat, because of course Julian Schnabel, as far as I understand, directed that movie. It's kind of based on Schnabel actually seeing him paint. So that is pretty cool, pretty educational. I haven't seen that, but I do have to see it. It's a masterpiece, beautiful beyond description, and with what may be the best soundtrack ever compiled. Well, I'll definitely have to check that out. Have a blast in Portugal. Thank you, Kells. And Neutro, thrilled to see Emilia at the opening. This kind of thing, Emilia Fantasia, this kind of thing really brings enthusiasm to newcomers to the blockchain. Indeed, I'm thrilled to hear, and the work itself just kind of percolated to the top there, so that is wonderful. Walk, great to hear from you. You're welcome. Katerina, Jan Lucas Magone, and What is Iana? Thank you for showing my work. My pleasure. What is Iana? I've been showing What is Iana's work for, again, probably a year here. Sahara NFT, thank you, and Melina. Also, Tradscape, thanks so much for the shout out. You were spot on with the creature being both pagan and Greek inspired, and I actually brought it up here. This one here, the tree with the 7 heads, because I was trying to place it. It feels very kind of Greek, but I couldn't place it. So this is both pagan and Greek inspired, and of course, Tradscape makes the music that opens this show and closes this show. By the way, I snagged those NFTs, and in the NFT description, you can use them for this kind of use. So it was a wonderful, really cool. Anyways, let's continue here. A very loose take on the Greek 7 sisters, Pleiades, and a loose resemblance to the constellation of the same name, but also inspired in just general nuance and vibe by pagan witchcraft. Very astute, Poco. Thanks again. You are more than welcome. So interesting, just blending, it seems to me, a whole bunch of things like witchcraft, mythology, and more. This is a great comment here. Clint Fulkerson, the plus side of continually releasing work that isn't selling is that you leave a number of underappreciated bangers for people to find when it is selling. That has happened to me several times in my 200 years in crypto art. This is great, because I was thinking to myself, because, I have a few works and they're still on the market, and I'm just happy to put out work. And then I thought, look at how good we have it. Look at how good we have it. Like, I thought about being a trad artist making physical art. Could you imagine not releasing or making art because you hadn't sold one? I mean, you can go years, 1 or 2 years easily without making a sale when you are just like show up like a lot of people do here in this city in Berlin to make it. Nobody cares who you are. And so you're lucky if you sell something for $40. It's not about the money. It's that someone actually likes what you're doing and takes you seriously, right? So, here, you're not sold out. Like, oh, geez, what are we going to do? Like, that's how good we have it here, I would argue. So it's just another sign of, and so, yeah, and for me right now, I just want to keep putting work out. I'm really excited about that. And selling is awesome. But it's, it could happen all at once. I remember Uxine, there's like a 1 of 1 for 111 Tezos way back when, like a year ago, maybe longer. Because it was about a year ago, because remember it was like December 2022 when that happened, when all of a sudden Xcopy bought the Uxine and then Uxine blew up. To Clint's point, once you kind of get the attention, everything gets cleaned out. And then there's like a massive buyout and secondary for Uxine's work there. So very interesting. A great comment, Clint Fulkerson. So into the art we go. Haiti Rocket modems. Loving these huge pixels. There's a lot going on here. Of course, like the windows, thing that we have here, shut down windows. If you can see this window coming up here, cycling through. So using that technique, putting on, interestingly, the Photoshop blank canvas at the bottom, and then a really big pixel telephone icon, a modem icon, I assume. Great piece. And then here's modems kind of glitched out here. Really interesting piece here, really original by Haiti Rocket. And here's some, Haiti Rocket has been playing with these really big pixels for a while, and I think they look great. Here it is in a Nintendo Glitch ROM, one shot, and this kind of looks like the Punisher or something else. Maybe it's a zombie thing. Kind of looks like, what is it, Frank Castle, the Punisher. But who knows? But look at these wonderful big pixels on top here. Just really cool. Combining it with text, also cool. Overlapping. Here's one more, world record by Haiti Rocket. This came out on Christmas Day, hilariously. And I think, is it long? Maybe it's it's long jump. It's someone doing the long jump. And a whole bunch of text in here. World record. Just very, very cool work by only 20 Tezos. Edition of 14 and 20 Tezos on secondary. Another really cool work here, combining text and pixels here by Cap'n. Really interesting. We see, and even the word that's used here, mirage, is repeated and almost just turned into pixels, turned into image. So we continue to explore the visuality of text here, don't we? And look at even just this beautiful mountain. Look at how great this mountain looks, static, and then put with this kind of red, pattern-like, design-like sun, little patterned sun, made of this bigger shape that makes a circle. Just really, really interesting work here. Again, with Mirage kind of glitched out, just more Cap'n reverberación, as they would say, I think, in Spanish. Of course, Cap'n being in Costa Rica. And we've done a wonderful space with Cap'n that should be available on Spotify there, for the weekly X spaces there. Here's Mayu doing the Trash Man. This came out when? December 27th. So I think this is part of Tez Trash. So it continues here. And of course, Mayu's classic character here, the yellow skeleton and the classic palette, taking out the trash. So another cool celebration of the Tez Trash. And this is 2000 by 2000 pixels. Sold out on primary, edition of 32 for a Tezos 50. So pretty cool there. Chaz, Summer Vacation, 8-Bit Dreamscape is the series here. And as you can see, more just kind of big chunky pixels here. So Summer Vacation is the theme, and it's almost like this screwdriver here is maybe to fix the laptop or something. A little kind of book here, maybe a guide. Someone having fun. Kind of reminds me of Summer Vacation when I was a kid being in the basement there, and my brother had a soldering iron, and just kind of messing around and just keeping yourself busy. Kind of an innocent work, isn't it? And a cool kind of retro mini laptop there. Very cool. Love the title. Love the concept. $349, edition of 15, 11 left on primary. And here is Muji on Foundation. And this is listed in Anno 2718 Season 4. I never even saw that. And so kind of a different looking work from Muji here. And we see the classic dithering, though, and that dark violet, dark purple is definitely recognizable, as is this, but kind of a different composition here in the middle. So interesting piece, almost looks like a tree. And then you see some gradient cycling through, of course, likely using deluxe paint, 400 by 400, so tiny, times 2, magnified by 2. Here is that series, Anno 2718 Season 4, with the Brie-drum here. And here are some of the works. So maybe a window on the future, perhaps. A cool concept here, featuring, so pretty small show. Interesting. Very interesting. So that's on Foundation. Continuing on, mech.txt with a new DOS work here on Twitter. I think, can you tell, what's your favorite part? My favorite part, indeed, is the water here. what seems to be water in this big, chunky, interesting, another thing to notice here. It does seem like there's almost a 2:1 ratio on the pixels. You see that? It looks like two squares make a vertical pixel here, interestingly. And you see it here in the negative space here, also here in the negative space. So interesting, because I think there are pixels that are 2:1. As we say, as I've often pointed out here, not all pixels are alike. And so anyway, a beautiful kind of scene here. The contrast that comes from that bright, flat, blue, seeming lake or river or sea is just makes the piece. It already would be beautiful, but then the blue just kind of makes it shout, so to speak, leap off the page. And even nice shading here, hilariously. Nice simple shading on the building. And interesting green sky, which continues in the grass and the trees here. So very interesting. So 2:1 tiles is what this looks like. Also interesting, never stopping experimenting here, mech.txt, taking Windows elements and making abstracts out of them, almost making your own scroll bar here and turning it into something to manipulate basically for an abstract. So the ideas never stop here with mech.txt. Very interesting idea here as well. Amelia Versace, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm loving it. Exactly. Well put. PP Universal, a very interesting piece here. The bull market, la mentira, the lie maybe of the bull market, la verdad de los... So I don't know what the rest means, but interesting. So referencing perhaps the bull market. Maybe it's the lie of the bull market. Maybe it means maybe PP is a bear on the whole bull. I'm starting to, it's going to be really interesting, not to get too far into the finance, but you see the NASDAQ, you're getting like the classic, like they call it the bubble pop pattern, where it goes just a little bit higher than the high on the second pass and then before the collapse. It's going to be huge to see, like, does it basically, to use the visual analysis term, does it confirm above that and then rocket off to like, whatever that would be on the NASDAQ? I don't know, 20,000. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. It'll be interesting to see, all to say, because it does influence us and impact us directly, as artists. But I'm happy to say here, just finally on this point, we've been here all through the bear market, if it's in fact over, and it's been fabulous. It's been fabulous, and people have been selling work and selling out. So it does impact us, but it's also, life continues here. The art continues. And so a beautiful work here by PP Universal. Again, looks like a bull or a cow, and done with that really cool pattern style. Seems to be breaking up the image a little bit here, interestingly. Makes a pretty cool work. Maybe it's less literal than just the image. Let's say you do a laptop and then you do this patterning and this noise. Almost looks like photos of the screen. When you take pictures of the screen and you start getting interesting little kind of circular distortions, it almost looks like that. Very cool experimental work here. Edition of 5. And let's see, 4 left at 7 Tezos. Santiago makes a sale here on Super Rare. And so that is cool. 0.2, so $475. So nice work by Santiago. Collage of AI outputs and digital painting. Let's take a closer look here. So this was minted in November. I'm not sure if we looked at this one or not, but anyway, congrats to Santiago for the sale. Great color in the background here to frame it all, and really nice piece, isn't it? And I love this outline here. Like, it's always new, and then you kind of get these little... It's a really nice piece. I guess that's why Santiago decided to mint this one on Super Rare. So great work there. And continuing on, Santiago Ruao, Flashes of Energy. So here is a new work on Zora. There's Amelia Versace. Again, awesome. Love this indeed. Random works. And here, I saw it posted on Twitter too, so we can zoom in a little bit. If there's one thing I'd love for Zora to have is a maximize window, which we don't have. And when you open it in the new tab, The problem is that you get a left side align. So it'd be nice if we could get centered on the page at least. So I brought up the Twitter version, and here you can see each of the different shapes here with cool gradients inside. So cool work here by Santiago Ruao with a gradient in the background, more just interesting abstracts. Yuri J, Gas Station Situation, kind of a humorous title. And someone, our octopus figure, goes to fill up at the gas station here. And there's an octopus on top and a license plate here, just very creatively done here. And again, would hang really nicely with that PP Universal work, wouldn't it? Again, the outlines kind of being excuses for different kinds of patterning. Nice little cigarettes on the ground there too, and sunglasses and a hat on the octopus. And very bold here, kind of fuzzed out, almost like Gaussian blur perhaps. Almost as if it's almost like Yuri J is challenging himself to use every effect that's in the Photoshop filter section. Who knows? Cool work as ever. Lando Creed, This Is the Myth. This came out a couple of days ago, and almost feels like older Myth here a little bit, but this time with a bright yellow background, and looks like Lando Calrissian, but just as if he was just got off, finished training. Finished doing some boxing training or MMA. Lando Creed, pixel brush on Procreate. So not done. So it probably is more recent. So very cool. Edition of 10. I remember when, at least I think I know, when Myth moved to Procreate, we started seeing different kinds of works. So very cool. Because this one's kind of reminiscent, of course, of some of the Microsoft Paint works. Anyway, very, very nice piece. Gloomtube Santa stamp. And here we have a classic Gloomtube. I think this was sent out. I think I got one of these, actually. And kind of funny. I was trying to figure out what was going on here. Because you have the Santa figure, and then you have the smoke coming up, maybe warming himself by the fire. But is he lighting on fire? Not clear. And is there a clue in the title? Note, just Santa stamp. So interesting piece, 2 Tezos, 40 Tezos cents, and monster drinks here. That is hilarious. An American Christmas with Gloomtube. Vanguard Christmas stocking, Weissman Goldminovich. So an edgy work here with a gun and all sorts of paraphernalia here. And a stocking, a gun in the stocking from Weissman Goldminovich. Nice composition and kind of an edgy work here. And I thought, interesting, too, the way that the fire kind of almost reaches the stocking. I just thought it was kind of an interesting work here. Edition of 2, 13 Tezos, and the first sold for 3, and then a few were burned, and now the second is 13. Very cool. Katarina Create Sweet Dreams, and this was December 28th, put out with Hologram Gallery, Chi Moscow Jackson, so maybe they are working on a show together. And cool animated work here. At least the colors are animated by Katarina Create. And her figure here, or the Katarina Create's character in a hand, in the palm of someone's hand. So continuing to just really nice pieces. And it's just really nicely drawn. Like it reminds you, again, I've probably mentioned this before, of like Picasso's classical style of like I want to say like the late 20s or 30s, maybe in the 1930s. These people on the beach. It just has that kind of classical style to it, which I really like. And then just fun flowers, nice texture too, and everything. So this is an edition of 30, created for Error.exe art show by Hologram Gallery. And that is, so have they, and 2 have sold so far for 2 Tezos, none others are listed. This was pretty cool discovery on Instagram here. Morgane Fatinelli, Gilbert and Chloe Prague. So I'm not sure, maybe this is Gilbert, that's probably the title, and Morgane Fatinelli is probably the artist because we can see more of Morgane's work here. Pretty nice illustration here, just a discovery on Instagram. Here is another one. Irina Celeru, Christmas Dinner. Again, another take, like we saw the work yesterday that we opened the show with, A Christmas Dinner. So here's a different take with these fish plates. Interestingly, with desserts on the fish plates, interesting contrast. And you see all of these cakes and different kinds of treats and wine and drinks. Just a really nice piece and smartly colored, wouldn't you say? With this blue kind of foreground or surrounding area, and then the table just takes center stage in color. And here are some details. Very interesting use of the fish plates. And here, just very fun and nice piece here. Christmas cake. And continuing on, this was a really cool work that I saw on Instagram. Anton Marast. Good morning, everyone. Never seen this artist before, but really nice still life here of a bathroom looking off into the countryside. And there is a ship. Very nice illustration, subtly painted here in the colors on the wall. Just a really nice piece. Even the radiator there, the odd perspective, right? Kind of a, as you look down there, the angle on the floor, just really nice. This was also really nice. ZW Gartz, Zwagartz. If you follow this account for well-made art, then I regret to inform you. I thought it was a pretty nice piece, and I like how the title was written here, Welcome to My Bathroom. Very nice piece here, and an alarm clock, and then you just see like the things that someone's thinking about in the morning, coffee, and everything. Just a really cool kind of sketch here, and then just some other work here. So cool artists there. Here's Nov 1914, very experimental work as usual. Although this is some of the less experimental stuff, even though this is pretty experimental. Brote. So here we have a couple of these stuffed animals done with the gradients, and then a flower that they're holding. So, and then here it seems to be like a flower with maybe some water and this kind of odd gradient there. That is a 1 of 1. As you can see here, we got some really experimental stuff here as well. Like, check this out, Doratus. Like, you got to give credit to Nov 1914 for the boldness. That is one of the things I love about this artist, as well as, like, again, I think of Martin Brook. Again, this kind of indie digital art, like it's edgy. So interesting experimentation here with the arrow and even the frame. This is a 1 of 1, and it is all selling. 7 Tezos to spritz. Here's another 1 of 1, Piedra. Like, look at how minimal this is. Pretty interesting. Again, bold decision-making here from Nov 1914. 5 Tezos, boom, sold. How long did that take, just out of curiosity? 1 minute. 1 minute. So that is cool. This is a really nice, this is a more accessible piece, we could say, Cortejo. And this went for 7 Tezos to Illusion. Kind of lowering the prices a little bit, interestingly, because I think it was already pretty reasonable at 9 or 10 Tezos, but maybe going with a fiat conversion, perhaps, as Tezos rises in price, but continuing to make the sales, which is always great as an artist. Very nice gradients on the side here, too, kind of like a teddy bear with a crazy sort of outline here, and some wild orange trees. Just super original work here. Mumble Boy. Speaking of original, Souvenir. So this is a collage, I believe digital collage. So here you see kind of a character here. And again, kind of a interesting kind of, not quite flat. There's a little bit of green in there, if you can see that on the head there. But basically a blue, fairly flat head with collage on top. And then kind of a simple gradient in the background. Just interesting work here and interesting frame as well. Souvenir, this is a 1 of 1 for 12 Tezos. So you see this kind of, it's a nice price point. I think that a lot of this, what I call indie digital art is selling for. It's like, it's attractive price point because you're being experimental. You're pushing the boundaries of aesthetics, but it's not giving it away for 1 cent either. Like, you're selling it, it's respectable. You continue doing your work. It's great. Hell's a poppin'. Look at this one. Edition of 3, only 4 Tezos. Very interesting experimentation here. We have a jockey on a horse, and I think of Lorna Mills when I see the horse the horse racing. But anyway, continuing on. Anyway, some pretty edgy here too, as we're kind of in the indie section. I'm starting to realize of this show, like pretty edgy cutouts of, and then here. Is that collage or is that more drawn on top? Just an edgy work. Like when you zoom out, it's pretty cool, isn't it? for Tezos edition of 3, Hell's a Poppin'. This is a particularly unusual one. I don't often use photos like this, and I don't know if the collage I was making was screaming for this image, or if I had started with the photo and made the collage to it. So that's what happens when you do a ton of work, is stuff just comes out. So here's a recent work here by Mumble Boy. So very cool. I make collages and animation. Look at this work. Fabulous work here by One Don't Knows. This is from November. So I had missed this the original time. Look at that Dali. Hat tip to Dali there from the Persistence of Memory, the soft watches. This is classic One Don't Knows with the eyes, putting the eyes everywhere. But you see, it's fun to go this far. There's more eyes. It's really fun to magnify like this and see it up close and personal here. And look at the great flowers. This is classic One Don't Knows and everything. So really nice collage here that I missed earlier, or it's in late November when this was released. Great piece. This is called Shelter, another great title, and I don't actually recognize what work this might be from originally. So interesting piece, 1.5 ETH or $3,216, one of one. This is on Nympha. So Nympha is still doing stuff. This is amazing. I was like, am I still recording? Good. Check this out. Listen to this. Kurt Hustle Collective, by the way. KHC. That's like just the part of the intro. It's like they're really talented. Like, I guess it's Culture from 2014, but I don't know who these guys are, but it seems like they're pretty good at making music. See if any more plays. How are we doing here? Is our internet gonna cooperate? Let's see if we can actually, there we go. Listen to this. Oh. If you go through it, almost sounds like Jackson 5. Okay, and then we'll let it go here. But these guys, so 10 Tezos, and this is an edition of 9. I think there are 2 left. And there is Histrubal Waffle has picked one up. Ex-Mortal, Mason, 16 were burned. Akira Dice, Mikey Wilson, Haiti Rockette, so all-star crowd here. So all to say, I wish this was playing more, but check it out. I mean, it's really cool music here from Kurt Hustle Collective. Doing Culture. Culture is the artist here. Upscale Loft, just cool title. Working with the Japanese design there. Ex-Mortal, meet me here. Just never get sick of palm trees. You can always see more palm trees. This is beautiful, and the colors are fantastic. And look at the sun and everything, these beautiful palm trees in the wind. Let's see, it probably sold out pretty fast. Let's see, yeah, pretty much, but in one day, sold out at 666. It's kind of a quieter market right now, so that's pretty good. Edition of 15 selling out, that's fabulous. Renki, Setsu Motoyama. So we haven't looked at a Renki for a couple of weeks here, I feel. So a very nice piece here. As Renki continues to just solidly put out work here. And I quite like how that is kind of like that pixelation or the noise in the middle work. It's just a brilliant animated abstract is what I'm trying to say here. Klaus, Composition 24. We have a few more works by Klaus here. So here's one. Doing really nice work. These are one of ones that are going for very cheap. $15 to Illusion. Here's another one, Composition 26, and the colors on these are fantastic, by the way. Let's just look at the $15. So again, selling pretty reasonable here for these works. One of one works of art. Look at this one with the pixels. Still available. 15 Tezos. So doing very nice work here. It's just composition 27 by Klaus. We'll see if it sold yet. It did to Spritz. So just really cool work coming out here. Post-processing in DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, and a lot of analog video processing. Composition 25. And let's see this one. 15 to Somfei, who also makes some analog video glitch. So just really, really nice series here. And continuing on, Dr. Version with a new work here, Landscape 16, and just another really nice piece here, using outlines to basically as a way of putting in different kinds of video, as an opportunities to put in different kinds of video textures here. A kind of landscape of sorts here with a touch of almost a Yves Tanguy vibe on this one. Very cool and beautiful. Of course, Roberto Matta is Dr. Version's kind of go-to person. Great textures, beautiful work. Edition of 8 for 7 Tezos. There are 3 left. And this is something I discovered on Twitter. Artist is Michael Hughes. So a new artist I discovered here. And we'll see if it loads up okay. This is on Manifold. Kind of a wild work, hey? Just an interesting kind of, I'm not sure if it's AI, interesting kind of video glitch work. 1920 by 1080, 25 frames per second, 20 seconds. So interesting piece, 0.125 ETH. And here, Guru Hyena with a work and kind of like a really intense, like, I want to say like Japanese doll or figure here or toy with all of this kind of feedback and just kind of dancing in space here. Interesting piece here. This is an open edition, open for 2 weeks at 2 Tezos, 22 cents, Super Mush. So Princess Tootie and Guru Hyena. Was that a collab? Not sure. Just see Guru Hyena on the creator there. AI. I thought this was kind of interesting too. Intelligence that is added to a system that can be organized in a scientific context, or can also be called artificial intelligence. Animated GIF by Erwan. 100 frames, 3 Tezos. Just an interesting piece here as we see what looks like actually text made by AI. So this is, I believe, an AI artwork, a kind of AI experimental work, human computer. Interesting piece. 17 left on primary. And here, I believe this is also AI. Ren AI on Super Rare. Yeah, so this, I believe, is AI. So it's kind of got that manga sort of feel to it. We'll see if we can make it bigger. Right? Yeah, this is AI. You can tell when you zoom in. So pretty interesting. You can tell that these kind of imperfect lines, like they're not super straight. Right? It's almost like that's where you start getting the distortions, little folds here. Very interesting. And there you see it in the writing, but you really have to zoom in because otherwise you could just, and actually I think you see it on the figure here too, in the hands and the face. Interesting piece. And so continuing on, this is Charles AI with kind of a funny, I think Dali would actually kind of enjoy these works here. GM with a Pepe in the sky in this kind of winter piece here. And I thought just an interesting AI artwork there. And of course, this is Walk, Iggy Pop the Idiot, private commission. And so getting commissioned, and just again, the master here of the spray paint all throughout. All of these marks are just beautiful, including that little drip right there. So probably, this is probably the name of an album. I was never a big Iggy Pop guy, so I only knew the song really from Trainspotting, the opening song there. That was a pretty cool song, though. Look at this. I really like this. Someone, I think Folk Artwork was highlighting some of their highlights of the year, the 8th most popular work of 2023. This looks like a card series that is manually done. And there's something just incredibly delightful about that. And then even here, like you're not sure, is this, I guess this is the ace? I'm not sure. Unknown African-American playing cards, Mississippi. Oh, so this is 1900 to 1920. Now, someone was oil-based color on reused product cardboard via Ploy Art, because I brought up Ploy Art. I wonder if this is just a homemade card deck from Mississippi in the early 20th century. Because I brought up Ploy Art, and this is an artist, New York City Gallery, exhibiting a Venn diagram. So maybe based out of New York, or at least represented here, this artist Joshua Lowenfels. I thought it maybe was here, but actually this is unknown, as far as I understand this description here. So how cool is that? And I guess maybe Joshua Lowenfels owns the card deck, perhaps. Amazing. And of course, Joao Salazar. Soon I list some of my best plasticine paintings on Foundation. So here is a sneak peek, courtesy of Joao. So looking great as usual here. And a lot of internet iconography combined with just a whole bunch of random stuff with these. Look at this beautiful gradient made of plasticine to make the sky delightful and fun and just really cool. And that's your show, my friends. So enjoy the week, enjoy the holidays. Happy New Year, and see you in 2024. Until next time, take care.